Hi, and welcome to Wisdom of Love, a podcast where we explore the poetry of Rumi. Here we explain how Rumi's words has touched our hearts and transformed our lives today. I'm Zore, and I'm so glad you're here with us.
And I'm Behnaz, and I'm so thrilled to be here. Although Rumi is a classic poet and he wrote his poetry nearly 800 years ago, but his poems surprisingly speak directly to what we are experiencing right now.
And that's what this podcast is all about. We are not just reading beautiful poetry here, but in fact, we are sharing how these poems have actually helped us in our real lives. In this podcast, Behnaz and I will be sharing our personal stories, our interpretations, and we are hoping that this can create a space for you where you can reflect on your own journey with love, with loss, spirituality, and the wisdom of love.
Wonderful. Today we are going to read and elaborate on three powerful couplets from the third book of Mesnevi.
Perfect. So I just want to reiterate that whether you are already familiar with Rumi or you're just discovering him for the first time, we invite you to join us in this exploration.
Let me read the first couplet in Persian and then its translation in English. ننگرم کس را وگر هم بنگرم او بهانه باشد و تو منظرم. I look at no one, and even if I do look at them, they are merely an excuse. You are what I truly see.
This is so beautiful. Behnaz, I was thinking, like when he says, I look at no one, by looking, so we see something through our eyes, but at the same time, we are creating mental images in our minds, right? And our minds are constantly showing us things. So we have mental images of things, our experiences, the objects that we desire, our memories, anything that we have experienced through life. And our mind tries to convince us that they are important. After reviewing all these mental images and all these experiences, we might feel miserable, worried, or sad. But I feel like this couplet is somehow teaching us not to look at these experiences in a way that they become our main preoccupation. We shouldn't let them to be the main driver of our emotions. Is that true?
Exactly. And it works the other way around too. Think about the moments that you look at a breathtaking sunset or you hold a newborn baby, you feel something beyond the physical beauty.
The second couplet somehow reiterates what you said. He says عاشق صنع توام در شکر و صبر عاشق مصنوع کی باشم چو گبر. English translation is I'm in love with your artistry in gratitude and patience. How could I be in love with what is made like an idol worshiper?
Wow, this is so deep. Rumi makes a clear distinction between loving the things and loving the creator. And he says being in love with the things made rather than the maker itself is like somehow like being an idol worshiper. So what Rumi is trying to convey is that everything that comes our way in life, good or bad, instead of focusing on the situation, instead of like thinking, oh my God, how unwanted this is or how difficult the situation is, I look at the creator. I look at the one who's the creator of those things and events. This will provide us with a power beyond our ken from a source that has been unbeknownst to us by now, the eternal wisdom.
And I love how he says in gratitude and patience. It feels like he's giving us the practice right there, right now. So the practice would be when something good happens, we should be grateful, and when something difficult comes, we should be patient. In both cases, whether it's good or bad, we are not getting stuck at the circumstances themselves. So we are shifting our attention to the divine creator which is behind everything. We so often fall in love with the things, right? With the accomplishments, with relationships, with the possessions. Even we fall in love with the pain from our losses. And this, loving of the things makes us forget that there is a creative force that brought all of these things into being.
That's very true. The third couplet is exactly about this. He says, عاشق صنع خدا بافر بود عاشق مصنوع او کافر بود. The lover of God's artistry is a true believer. The lover of his creation is a disbeliever.
That's so deep. Because when we focus on the creator instead of just the created objects, we somehow gain access to something deeper. So I think by true believer, he means our wisdom. It's the time when our wisdom starts to work through us, and everything we do becomes more creative, more effective, and the reason is that we are connecting to that divine artistry itself, right? But on the other hand, whoever loves the objects and not their maker, they somehow lose their access to the divine wisdom. We get cut off from the source.
That's correct. And about the word disbeliever, I think it's not really about religion in a narrow sense. It's about losing sight of reality.
These three couplets together form a complete teaching. It taught us to look beyond the things, to love the source. As they say, don't mistake the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself.
Yeah, that was very nice. And so Rumi invites us to fall in love not with everything our mind shows to us, but open the space around them and look beyond them and practice both gratitude and patience.
Exactly. Behnaz, I was thinking exploring these verses with you today reminded me again that this wisdom isn't just poetry. It's a day-to-day practice. It's something we get to return to again and again, and that's what we hope for our listeners too.
Yes, Sore, we hope these couplets become companions in our daily life. When we are facing a challenge, when we are celebrating a joy, when we are simply trying to make sense of it all.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. Until next time, may you see the divine in everything you encounter.
And may your heart always find its way back to the source of all love.